10 years have passed since the tragedy night of April 14, 2014, when Boko Haram insurgents stormed the government girls' secondary school at the town of Chibok in Borno State, abducting 276 girls and igniting global outrage. A decade later, the fate of 90 of these girls remain uncertain. Bring back our girls and Kada demand release of rescued Chibok girls to their various families. They also threaten legal action if government resists their demands. The Kibako Area Development Association, KADA, and the Bring Back Our Girls movement have issued a strong call to the Nigerian government and the Borno State government to release the recently rescued Chibok girls to their various families. They emphasize that the girls should not be handed over to any individuals associated with terrorist group under the guise of marriage. This was disclosed in a press conference held in Abuja to commemorate the 10th years anniversary of the Chibok girls' abduction. The KADA National President, Dauda Idepaya Ilia, condemned the actions of the Borno State government. He criticized the confinement of the girls in Maiduguri, labeling it as another form of captivity, disguised as rehabilitation and integration. The chairperson, Bring Back Our Girls strategic team, noted that the government refusal to rescue the girls has battered several other abductions, thereby making the abduction industry strive in their business. The former Minister of Education, Obiageli Ekwesili, noting that several administrations have passed without the complete recovery of the kidnapped girls. She urged the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration for an immediate action to rectify this situation and ensure the girls safely return back to their home and to their families. The co-founder and Bring Back Our Girls, the former Minister of Education, Obiageli Ekwesili, also gave a wake-up call to the parent of the kidnapped girls. Mrs. Rebecca Samuel, a mother to Sarah Samuel, who was one of the kidnapped girls, she's pleading to the government for the release of the remaining girls, while expressing her disappointment over the governor's led government.
Under what guise and by what legal authority did the Borno State government continue and illegally and obnoxiously use the word marriage between the returnee girls and the so-called repentant terrorists? Number two, how are the girls' voices and or that of their parents or guardians being incorporated into the decision-making processes about their rehabilitation and reintegration into society? We want to know. Number three, are there support services by the Borno State government specifically tailored to address the psychological and emotional needs of these girls who may have experienced trauma during their captivity? Number four, what measures have the Borno State government put in place to ensure the safety and security of the girls both in Maiduguri and upon their eventual return to Chibok?
In pursuing our advocacy, which is driven by the conviction that the primary duty of government is the security and welfare of citizens, we called on the government to focus on the need to bring back our girls and ensure the circumstances that enabled the abduction were identified, addressed, and documented so that a future occurrence would not occur. Unfortunately, the Chibok girls' abduction was only the beginning of countless abductions that have led to a thriving abduction industry in our nation, since the government have refused to bring the perpetrators of the abduction of our Chibok girls to book. The industry has since flourished.
The child of a senator, the child of a member of the House, the child of the governor, the child of the president, the child of the vice president is not in any way superior to any of our Chibok girls. Not one bit. Therefore, everything that needs to be done in order to account for the outstanding girls and bring back as many of them that can still be brought back, everything that must be done to then give closure to this saga. It will never end in our hearts, but at least the actions necessary in order to make it a saga that is not an open wound forever for a country like ours will need to be done by this administration. We spent our lives here for year after year. It is now time for the Parents Association of Chibok girls. You must take over this fight and take it over in a way that shows clearly that you're not willing to trade your daughters for a mess of pottage.
Urgent release of the rescued girls in custody of the Borno state government to their families and not to anybody, nor the terrorists, the so-called repentant terrorists that were in the first place their abductors. The girls' consent and that of their parents or guardians were not sought before they were abducted. It's unimaginable. As such, what is the basis to seek their consent before they are allowed to be returned to their parents? Number two, we demand a formal rebuttal and apology to all the families and the community at large for the illegal cohabitation encouraged by the Borno state government by calling the terrorists their husbands, and the failure to do so may result in legal action against the Borno state government and all its officials who have used this insulting and demeaning terminology to describe a very ugly and painful situation. 10 years, too long, too painful to bear.
Because it's not easy, because to miss your daughter is not traveling, or she went to the place where you need. It's not easy. So we are begging them to try again, to try to rescue the remaining children, because it's not easy to us.